All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Franklin Stoffer. I am the head of sales here at Delta Media Group. Thank you, everybody who is on the call, taking time out of your busy schedules to join me today to go through the new Delta Create Studio widget and learn a little bit more about what we've been working on here at Delta Media Group. I will give a quick apology in advance. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I've got a bit of a cough. I apologize in advance if I've got to take periodic breaks to grab a drink of water. So please bear with me with that. With that being said, I would like to give just a quick introduction. We do have people on this call that are both existing Delta Media Group customers, as well as prospective Delta Media Group customers who may not know all of the things that we have to offer here at Delta. So I'm going to give just a really brief introduction as to who we are, and then we're going to jump into the agenda for the meeting today. So, for those that aren't aware, Delta Media Group is an independently owned and operated technology company based in Northeast Ohio. We're just about an hour south of Cleveland. Our CEO, pictured on this slide, Michael Meinard, is the owner and operator of Delta Media Group. And we're one of the longest standing technology providers in the real estate sector, having founded our company in 1994. And we've been servicing real estate firms for over 30 years with our websites, CRM, and digital marketing solutions that you'll see a bit of today. We also have an intense focus on search engine optimization, making sure that our websites rank well in Google and the search engines. And we're an extraordinarily customizable platform, both with websites as well as the DeltaNet itself being a customizable backend CRM and internet solution. What we do falls under these three categories of service. We offer customizable websites and mobile apps, customizable intranet with the DeltaNet CRM program. We have ongoing marketing strategies where our marketing team can do ongoing SEO optimization of your website, hyperlocal content creation, pay-per-click management services, and automated marketing tools through our AdWizard program. And of course, we take support very seriously here at Delta with an in-house technical support team that's available via phone call, email, and live chat, and ongoing training strategies as well. And so everything that we do falls under these various products that are within our catalog of services. The DeltaNet being the central hub that powers all of our listing data, agent information, and anything else that's going to be related to your CRM is going to be powered by the DeltaNet. And then we've got all of these ancillary products that kind of spider off of that, from our websites, our DeltaNet Academy training and education system, Open House Connector, our Properties in Motion listing video service, AdWizard for automated advertising, Social Connector for connecting your social media accounts to your CRM for automated marketing publications, and then, of course, Delta Create and Delta Pitch. And the big product we're going to be talking about on today's webinar is Delta Create. So, for those of you that have been customers with Delta for a long time, you may recall that all the way back in DeltaNet 4, we launched our e-card and flyer solution. So, over 10 years ago, we were offering the ability for agents to create listing flyers, open house postcards, price reduction emails in different e-card templates, and that evolved over the years into e-cards and flyers in DeltaNet 5, later into the Creative Studio in DeltaNet 6, and then evolved into Delta Create as a standalone widget within DeltaNet 7. One of the things that we've been hard at work on at Delta is modernizing all of the admin side functionality of our system. And for those that are company administrators in DeltaNet today, may know that you're still technically accessing DeltaNet 6 for the admin side tools. And so we've been working at creating DeltaNet 7 widget versions of all of that DeltaNet 6 functionality to carry over into DeltaNet 7. And so, as we were working on the old Creative Studio widget that existed within DeltaNet 6 for company admins, that led to us recreating that as Delta Create Studio as a standalone widget that is available within the DeltaNet today. And so the vast majority of time we're going to spend on today's call is going to be reviewing what all the new functionality is within Delta Create Studio and what the differences are between the two widgets of Delta Create as it exists within DeltaNet 7 today and the new Delta Create Studio that is also available to be placed as a widget within your DeltaNets today. So what we're going to be covering in the webinar is going over the DeltaNET AI Assistant and how that ties together with our new Create Studio widget. We're going to be talking about the Delta Create widget as well as the new Create Studio widget. We're also going to be going through in depth all of the new functionality that is available within Delta Create Studio and how your upgrade agents and your company admins can leverage those tools within the DeltaNet today. We'll also be giving an overview of the DeltaNet and Canva integration and how that ties in with the Delta Create Studio program. And we'll also end by teeing up the next webinar, which we'll be doing later on in April. So, beginning with the AI tools, because these are going to be directly related to what you're able to do within Delta Create Studio. So we did have for a brief period of time an AI assistant that we were calling the Hera AI. We have decided moving forward that this is simply going to be the DeltaNet AI Assistant. And the DeltaNet AI Assistant has been active in a beta form with many of the brokerages that are part of our advisory committee council. And if you'd like to be opted in to test our AI assistant, all you need to do is reach out to our support team, and we're able to enroll you in the beta rollout of the DeltaNet AI Assistant. This is going to be a massive tool, and today's webinar is not going to be going super in depth on all of the things that the AI assistant can do. We will be having our own standalone webinar to go through all of the features and functionality of the DeltaNet AI assistant very, very soon. In the next 4 to 6 weeks, expect to see another webinar where we're going to be going much more in depth on the AI assistant. So for today's meeting, I'm just going to be talking about A, how you enable the AI assistant, and then B, setting up your DeltaNet profile with your AI assistant, because that's going to be directly related to the Create Studio widget, which is also active in the DeltaNet today. So, if you are a brokerage that does have the DeltaNet AI Assistant enabled, the first thing that we recommend your agents do is when they log into the DeltaNet, they're going to click on their profile, and there will be a new button that says DeltaNet AI Profile Wizard. And this is what we want each individual agent that uses the DeltaNet to establish their own AI profile, which is basically training our AI model on how to factor in each agent's unique language and voice into any of the prompts that are going to be available throughout the DeltaNet for AI content generation. Essentially, we're building a unique profile for each agent saying, this is the way that this agent speaks. This is information that's unique about this agent. Here are the areas that they service. And here's the ideal profile of customers that work with this agent. And that way, wherever there's a prompt to create new content in the DeltaNet, we're going to factor in each agent's unique voice into that prompt behind the scenes for our AI model. As one easy example, if you're enrolled in our AI beta, one of the things that you can do is regenerate listing descriptions using our DeltaNet AI tool. So if you go to any property that we've pulled through from the MLS and you click on the edit button, there's an option to override your listing description where our AI model is going to factor in that agent's profile, and it's going to analyze all of the MLS data and the images that were uploaded of that listing, and it's going to generate a listing description for that property, factoring in that agent's unique voice, the images that were uploaded, and the MLS data. So that's one easy example that's already live in the system today. There's also other areas where you can leverage the AI, creating unique blog content with pre-built prompts. You're going to be able to see on today's demo how you can factor in the AI assistant when you are creating designs within Delta Create Studio. And that functionality will also extend into creating custom web pages, where our AI model is going to be able to build landing pages on your website, build you great looking e-cards and print flyer designs, be able to create listing descriptions and blog articles and content. And that's only going to grow. As I mentioned, we will be doing a deep dive on all of the AI assistant tools in the very near future. For today, if you would like this enabled, please reach out to support@deltagroup.com and ask for you to be enrolled in the AI assistant beta. As it relates to Delta Create and the functionality that exists within the Delta Create widget today versus what's going to be in the Delta Create Studio widget. So we're going to start kind of giving a recap of what's already live in the DeltaNet that your agents have been using. Delta Create was designed around ease of use, really trying to make things as easy as possible for non-tech savvy agents to be able to build great looking marketing via email design or a print flyer or postcard with as few as 2 or 3 clicks. They click the design they want to use, they click the listing they'd like to load into that template, and then they click save, and it's ready to go. We wanted the ability for agents to easily browse templates. We have out of the box hundreds of designs that will automatically use your company's colors and logos on those designs. We wanted to be able to easily map that listing data to make it as easy as possible for the agents to build some form of marketing, and then giving them the ability to download that design and use it either as a print flyer or sending it out as an email blast using our CRM tools. The goal for Delta Create as a standalone widget, and this is still true today, is to give a very bare bones, very minimal editing capability to agents that just want to be able to build flyers quickly and they don't need to design all sorts of different elements within that marketing asset. versus Delta Create Studio. This is intended for company administrators and the more tech-savvy agents that are comfortable building marketing, say, in like a Canva environment, where they're used to drag and drop editors. They want to be able to manage more elements of that design. Or if you're a company admin, being able to create marketing materials for your agents and then sharing those templates to your agents. The Delta Create Studio widget is going to give you the ability to create your own templates entirely from scratch, or we've expanded on our import capabilities. In DeltaNet 6's Creative Studio, we had the ability to import EPUB files from Adobe InDesign. We've massively expanded that functionality, which now allows you to import any PDF, PNG, or JPEG file. And then when we import that design asset into the Creative Studio, our AI model is actually doing all the data mapping and picking up on the elements of that design and making those elements modifiable within the Create Studio interface, as I'll demonstrate for you on today's call. Within the Create Studio, you have full editing capabilities to modify these designs as you see fit. So this is more than just being able to manage certain small elements like a logo or manage like your picture. This is controlling the layering, the opacity, uploading your own images. It is full design capabilities within the file assets themselves. The AI model will also give you the ability to completely create your own designs using a text box to tell the AI what you want to build as a marketing asset. So rather than starting from a blank canvas from scratch, you can tell our AI assistant, I'd like to create a high quality new listing flyer that's going to advertise 4 photos of the listing, make sure that my contact information is prominent. We want to highlight a call to action that there's an upcoming open house on this date and time. And I want it to use my default company colors. And that AI model will be able to take that prompt and generate actual marketing assets for you and put them into the Create Studio for you then to manipulate the design assets. And we're going to do a walkthrough of building an AI prompted marketing asset on this call. It's very, very straightforward. Beyond that, if you are a company administrator, you're going to be able to control who has access to the designs that are in the Create Studio widget. So if you're building your own marketing assets, there's an entire piece of this program that will allow you to share specific marketing with either individual agents or agents that belong to a specific office. So if you're building commercial flyers and you only want that to be visible to the agents in the commercial office, you can easily do that. Or if you've got a luxury program and you only want certain agents to be able to see the luxury program flyers, you're able to control that rollout. And then finally, we've created a component that allows the company administrators to actually set up and designate print providers so that you can send a feed of print information to a local printer so you can actually have the print fulfillment happening as part of this program as well. And I should mention that out of the box, both the Delta Create widget and the Create Studio widget are connected with ExpressDocs as our default print provider. So if you've got your own relationship with ExpressDocs and you've negotiated your own pricing and rates, we can factor that in and you'll be taken to your ExpressDocs checkout page for print fulfillment, or we can enable a default ExpressDocs checkout page. So if you don't already have your own preferred printers and you want to give your agents the ability to order their own print, enter their credit card and purchase that, they're able to do so through ExpressDocs. So we're going to jump into a live walkthrough of the DeltaNet, and please keep a list of your questions because we will revisit those at the end of the call. I will have time for a Q&A at the end of the meeting. So with that being said, give me just one moment, and we're going to swap over to our other screen. And we are going to be inside of the DeltaNet interface. So it's important to note, if you want to get access to the Create Studio widget, you're going to begin as a company administrator by going to the navigation and access page, which is only visible to root admins, and you're going to need to designate where in the DeltaNet you would like to place the Create Studio widget. So again, if I go under the marketing tab and I'd like to add a page, you're going to come in here, you're going to create a page, you can title it whatever you want, and you're going to find the Create Studio widget. So you are looking for Create Studio as the widget you'd like to place in the DeltaNet. Make sure you hit save and make it accessible for either your company admins or if you want to make it available to agents, you can control that as well. To control who's going to be able to see this widget, we can click on the widget tab in navigation and access, and we're going to go to the Create Studio feature. And if you guys want to make sure you understand how this tool works before you give it to your agents, then I would recommend unchecking all of the boxes except for admin users. That way, only your admin accounts are going to be able to see that that widget exists. And then when you're ready to roll this out to your agents, you can simply check the box to give that user role access to that feature. So again, you guys can control this rollout when it's made visible to your agents. You're going to do all of that through the navigation and access widget. You can control the permissions by going to the widget tab, and you're going to place the widget in your DeltaNet build wherever you want using the pages widget here. In the example for today, we've placed it under its own page. So it's under our marketing tab, and we've got the Delta Create widget and the Delta Create Studio widget. I'm going to start, in the interest of time, just dropping us into Delta Create. This is the existing widget that is already in the system today. This is where your agents can go to navigate and see all sorts of different flyer designs that are available to them. They can easily click on a flyer design. In this example, we're just going to use an open house flyer. So we're going to click on the open house design, which is then going to open up the create interface where I can see all of my active listings, select a listing. It maps that information into this design. If I want to toggle my logo, I can click on the logo button. If I want to change information inside of this template, I can change the agent information, or of course, I've got my custom text fields here, but it's a very minimal editor. There's not a whole lot I can do here because elements of this are locked down and restricted, so I can't move all of these different elements around within the design. If I go into the Create Studio widget, it's going to look very similar with a handful of important differences. So within the Create Studio widget, the first thing that I want to highlight is this blue plus button, because this is where you're going to go to create from scratch your own print designs, your own email template designs, or if you've got the AI Assistant enabled, you'll see the ability to create AI generated designs within the Create Studio. We're going to use that same open house template as an example. If I click on that template, that's going to open up a much more advanced editor for me with this design. So rather than seeing the pictures of my listings on the left, I'm now seeing a list of my active properties. I can click on that property and it's going to map the information through so I can apply the data. I can see all the photos of the property and I can toggle those out, or I can add elements to the design. You're seeing here in the bottom left-hand corner layering. So if I want to eliminate that layer I just added, I can click the trash can icon and eliminate that layer. I have the ability of clicking on an image, and it's going to then load all of the image assets that are available across all of my offices. So if I click and expand the logos field, I can see all of the logos that have been uploaded that I can swap out to on this design. I can also adjust the elements of the design right here in line. So we've got a whole extra layer of editing. For example, if I click on that open house text, you're seeing here on the right-hand side all of the properties related to that text. So I could change the colors of the text. I can change the opacity. I can add borders to it. You've got all of the design elements that you'd expect to see in like an Adobe InDesign or in a Photoshop are all going to be available here. I have the ability of connecting and mapping data to each of these images, or each of these layers, rather. So if I wanted to adjust the layers that are tied to a specific element, you're able to do so by connecting these different data fields. So I click the data field button, and I can see here's all the different data mapping fields that are available related to listings. So do I want the listing address? Do I want the listing description? And I can save and map that data to that specific field. And now if I were to swap to a different listing, it's going to map that data related to that listing to that particular field. So not only are you managing the design elements within this, you're also connecting different data points inside of the design itself. So here, if I click on that photo, I can see the listing data field here is listing image one. And I could adjust with that data field to be anything else that I want it to be. And it's going to take into effect that MLS data when I am building the design. This is, as I mentioned, designed for company administrators to build your own designs from scratch. Or if you've got more advanced tech savvy agents that you'd like to roll this widget out to, giving them the ability to go all the way forward with modifying elements of the design, you can do so. Here's a great example of something that's available within the Create Studio. So maybe I want to modify an element of a design. So I can see here we've got our logo. I can unlock that element, and now that it's unlocked, I can move where it's at within the design. So I can adjust the logo. Maybe I want to add a QR code to this because this is an open house flyer and we want people to be able to scan a QR code and take them directly to my website or directly to the listing detail page of that property. So I can go ahead and insert a QR code element, and that's going to then give me the ability of highlighting a QR code within this design. So here's my QR code element, and we're going to bring that down here into the bottom right corner. Now, anybody that sees this flyer can scan that QR code, and it's going to take them directly to my website. Or if I want, I can have it actually ring my cell phone if somebody calls or scans that text QR code. Maybe I want this to go to a specific page. I can enter any website URL here, and whenever somebody scans that QR code, it will take them to that page. So this is designed to give you all sorts of editing capabilities where I can get access to all of the logos that have been uploaded. I can find my own photos. So we have our own Unsplash integration. So if I was looking for, a beach related photo, I could type a keyword in here and it's going to give me all sorts of image assets that I can drag and drop into the design. And then I can, of course, modify how this is going to look within the flyer itself. If I want to get rid of that element, I just remove that layer. Maybe I want to make this a larger design. So I can scroll out. I see this is my one-page flyer. Maybe I want to add a second page. We want this to be a multiple page design. So I can add multiple pages and toggle between the different page elements of that design. So we do support multiple pages within these designs. And then let's say I'm done making the modifications to this flyer. I want to share this design. This is going to give me the ability to save this file. And once I have saved a design element that I have created, as a company administrator, I'm going to have the ability to email this to a group of my customers. I could send it to Express Docs as a print fulfillment. I can also save this as a company template. So if I've designed a flyer and I want to share this with all of my agents, I'm going to click share as a company template. We're going to give it a name. This is going to be our open house flyer number 2. I can add some keywords to it to make it easy for the agents to find. It's going to be tagged in a specific category. And then I can save this as a new design or overwrite the existing template. And that way it'll take into effect the changes that I've made here for anybody else that uses this template in the future. So that gives me the ability to use an existing template to create a new design. If I want to control the rollout of these marketing assets, I can click on the gear icon next to any one of these designs. And because I'm a company administrator, I can toggle agent access. So if I click that button, that's going to disable that flyer and it is not going to be visible to my agents because I have toggled access to that design on or off. If I would like to share that specific design only with specific users, I would click on the share option and I can share it with an entire office, or I could share it with individual users. So if I've got a specific agent that I want to share that with, I can add that agent and they're going to be added to the list of people that can see that that design exists. So again, you've got full control over creating your flyer assets and then sharing those assets out within the system. Something new that we've added within the Delta Create Studio interface is a Hot Designs tab. This is designed to show the agents what are the most popular designs being used across your company. So the more agents you have that are using the Create Studio, you're going to be able to easily see what are the most popular and common designs that your agents are using inside of the DeltaNet. So the number one most used flyer in this particular DeltaNet is that open house flyer. And I can see the other common themes that are being used by the agents in this account. So the hot designs bucket, again, is just going to show you what are the most commonly used design elements within your particular company. Something else that you can do is I can import designs. So we're going to walk through this actually with the Canva integration in just a moment, but it gives you the ability to import design elements. And this is what replaced our old EPUB importer. So what I'm going to do is actually kick off an AI generated flyer, and then we're going to walk through our Canva integration and how we can connect and pull Canva templates directly within the Create Studio. So first, what I'd like to do is I'm going to say create a new design. So company admins will have the ability to create a print design. This will give you some different options of what do you want to create, a flyer, a postcard, an e-card, or a social media template. So if I click on a flyer, it's going to say I want to create an 8.5 by 11 design. That's going to drop you into a blank canvas. So this is me starting completely from scratch. I can upload images. I can again search for anything that's in my catalog here of Unsplash photos. I can add listing data, logos. This is designing from scratch a print design within our Create Studio. Let's close out of that. If I want to create an HTML driven email, I'm going to create the email. So I'm going to click the plus button and it's going to load me into our drag and drop inline email editor. So this is all going to be HTML driven. So I can drag over specific design elements into this design. I can grab, maybe you want to have a grid. Maybe you want to start uploading logos. This is your standard inline web page editor to build an HTML driven e-card. So I can build my email designs here. And of course, we have the ability of fleshed custom code. So if you build a great looking design, say in MailChimp or Constant Contact, you want to carry that email template over into the system, you can copy the source code and paste the source code, and it's going to carry through that HTML design inside of the editor. The third option is for those that have the AI beta enabled, you're going to see AI design. If I want to create an AI driven design, there's going to give you this option. What would you like to design? And it wants you to be as specific as possible in your prompt on what you're looking for. So we've got a brief example, create a modern real estate flyer with a blue and white color scheme featuring a large initial image and space for property details, so on and so forth. You're going to want to be as specific as possible. If you're somebody like me who's not a creative by heart, we have this Inspire Me button. And what the Inspire Me button is going to do is it's actually going to look into a catalog of over 100 different prompts that our team has created that'll give you really good looking marketing assets. So in this example, this is saying, I need an agent milestone graphic for my Canton, Ohio residential business that feels confident and modern. And there's all sorts of information about highlighting this particular agent for this flyer. If I click on that Inspire Me button again, it's going to generate a completely different, unique prompt for me that you can review and modify as you see fit. So this is looking into a bunch of different pre-set up prompts that our team has seen good success with creating great looking flyer assets. So this will just give you different ideas on what you can do within the Create Studio as you give these prompts looking for inspiration on creating your custom designs. You'll notice we've got a big disclaimer here saying for AI generated content, we really want to make sure that the agents are reviewing that content and that what the AI has created is going to be relevant for your particular market, and that it doesn't violate any of the guidelines that were applicable. So we're going to give this a moment as it's creating that unique prompt for me, and we're going to actually generate a design using the prompt that is created by the AI model. So this is an open house invite that it's asking to be generated. So we're going to go ahead and select our format. We want this to be an 8.5 by 11 flyer, and we're going to generate that design. Because of the amount of API calls that are being made as we generate these flyers, you'll notice we have a prompt that says this could take 2 to 3 minutes for that flyer to be generated. So keep that tab open, give it a couple of minutes so it can go through and it can generate that marketing asset because it's going to factor in your agent's unique voice that has been set up under their AI profile. It's going to factor in all of the listing data related to the listing that we're pulling through and creating this flyer for. And then it's leveraging our Claude AI code to actually generate the prompt and generate the flyers that are being leveraged within this particular widget. So as this is happening, I'd like to talk through our Canva integration because we're also going to be showing our AI importer as we go. So let me share my other screen here. And I want to start by saying anybody that has a paid business level Canva account is able to install the DeltaNET widget within your Canva environment. To do that, you're going to just go to the Canva app marketplace and type in DeltaNET. And you will see the DeltaNET widget, and it gives you the ability to use it in a design. When you click on that, this is going to then give you the ability to leverage the actual DeltaNET app within Canva. So we're going to do this as a live walkthrough of getting the app installed, what the experience looks like within Canva, and how you're then going to be able to pull that flyer back into the DeltaNET after you have created that asset within Canva. So here we're going to go into the Canva app marketplace. So if you're a Canva user, or you could just Google Canva Marketplace, it'll land you on this page. And if I type in DeltaNET, you're going to see that the DeltaNET app appears, and you're going to use in an existing design or use in a new design. So we've got our DeltaNET app installed. As a Canva user, you're going to have a variety of flyers that you've already started working with. So I'm going to pick a design here. This is an untitled design that I was working on. So I've selected my flyer template, and I can see this is really just an Instagram post. And then in the bottom left-hand corner of the Canva interface, you're going to see the DeltaNet app. If you click on that DeltaNet app, this is going to show you all of the listings that are inside of your DeltaNet account that I can map data for into any Canva template. So we're going to click on one of my listings, 963 Broad Street. And now, if I want to swap a photo out, I can do that. So I can see my listing photos that have come through from this integration. I could swap out the pictures right here. I can also switch out property details. So if I click down here on the price, I could say, hey, I want to carry through any of the specific information about this property. So we've got our property description, we've got our listing information. Here's the price of that property. Maybe here you can see it says 3 bedrooms. We actually have 4 bedrooms in this property. So I can click on those elements and I can update each of those different areas. There's a phone number populated there. So if I click on my agent contact information, I can click on my phone number and it's going to update that element of the design using all of the elements that we've pulled through from the DeltaNet integration. So this gives you access to property information, all of your agent details, and I can find other agents in the company and pull through their design elements into this specific design. So maybe we want our photo to be highlighted on this post instead of just the pictures of the property. So now we've added our picture. And then if I'm happy with how this design looks, I can go ahead and hit save. And we're going to say this is our just listed flyer. And you can determine the file format. It doesn't matter which format you use. We'll just leave it as PNG. And then you're going to see the option to save to DeltaNet library. So we're going to go ahead and export this. And this has saved the design and it is exporting it into the agent's file system within DeltaNet. If you are a company administrator and you'd like to add this design into your Delta Create Studio interface as a template for other agents to be able to use and modify, you're going to want to click the share button and you're going to actually want to download this design as well. So you can download it as a PNG, you can download it as a PDF. So we're going to go ahead and download this as a printable PDF. And so we have now downloaded that design. So I've exported it to my DeltaNet library and I've saved it as a PDF. And that's important because there are two different ways you're going to be able to leverage the Canva integration with DeltaNet. If you're an upgrade agent, you're going to want to export it to your DeltaNet library because that's how you're going to be able to send it as an email. If you're a DeltaNet admin, you're going to want to download that because we're going to use the new AI upload tool to add that asset into the Create Studio. So we've now been in Canva, installed the app, selected a template, mapped our data in, and saved our design on the Canva side. So let's pop back into the DeltaNet. So within the DeltaNet, now I've got two different places that I can use that Canva generated template. So we're going to go into the email blast. This is where upgraded agents are going to find their Canva integration. So if I want to use that Canva template as an email, I'm going to come into the email blast tool. We're going to want that to come from me. So let me toggle over into my upgrade agent role. So you're only seeing what the agent would see. We're going to generate an email. I want this email to run to all of my active customers. This is going to be new listing alert. And now we're going to want to insert an image. So you click the insert image button, and then you're going to click on the agent files tab. And this is going to be where those flyers that we've pulled over from Canva are going to appear. This is using what we call shared FS. It's our shared file storage system. Any agents can have marketing assets that are uploaded into this document section, and anything that we're pulling back from Canva is getting loaded into this media library. So I could see here is that Canva flyer that I just created. So we're going to insert that just listed Canva template. If I want, I can load up the email editor. And now I can see this is exactly how that email is going to come through when I send it using the email blast feature. If I wanted to make changes to the design, I'm able to use the inline email editor tool. Maybe I want to add a paragraph of text above that. Check out my new listing. You can add those different elements. You can center it. You can bold the text. All those different types of editors are going to be here. So we can bold it, adjust the justification, center that text. So you've got your editor here to modify that Canva template that we just pulled into the system If I'm done working on that, then I'm able to send this and it's going to run as an email blast where you're going to have all your email tracking and history to see how people interacted with that marketing asset that I've just sent through the system. So you're able to use that in the message blast tool. I could do the same thing on any of my drip campaigns. Wherever I've got that email editor capability, you can go into any one of those campaigns. You can add a campaign step, you can edit an email, and you have the ability of adding that specific design that we have just pulled from Canva in as any email step. So I can add an email. Again, I can attach an image. I can get into my agent files, and here are my Canva templates that I have imported into the system that are available to me to use as an email step in either the campaigns or inside of the Delta email blast feature. If you are a company admin and you've downloaded that Canva template and you want to make that available, you're going to come into the system and we're going to make sure we're on our admin interface because only admins can actually import inside of the system. And we're going to import the design. And here we're going to choose a file and we're going to look at my recently downloaded. So I just downloaded that design from Canva and we're going to upload this design. And so what this is going to do is it's going to take that element that I had just created inside of Canva. We've downloaded it as a PDF, and now we're going to upload it using the import tool, which is going to then use our AI program to analyze the image and break apart that PDF that I'm importing, giving it modifiable elements within the Create Studio interface. And usually with these AI importers, it'll get you 90% of the way there for the design itself. So as you'll see in just a moment, as it works to process this design, you're going to see that it's not going to be a one-to-one perfect import, but it'll get you 90% of the way there where you just have a little bit of cleanup, usually on font styles or on small icons that you may need to update the little images for, just to make sure that everything looks as clean as it did in Canva. But it does give you a pretty quick and clean way of recreating designs within the Creative Studio interface without having to go through all those extra steps of creating something from scratch. So we're going to quickly, as this is doing that import, I'm going to pop over into this interface. And actually, I got ahead of myself. Let me pop back over. So the import's already done. So you can see now that's the Canva template that I have imported within the Delta Create Studio environment. So I can see the elements of the design have been carried through. But as I mentioned, there's a little bit of cleanup that still needs to happen. So for example, I want to pop this symbol down a little bit, get that recentered. I can see here the font style and the text got a little bit out of whack from the import. So I can come through here and I can change to a different font type. Maybe we want to just use our normal Helvetica and we're going to adjust that sizing a little bit. You can see we pulled through some icons. So we tried to map the icons as best we could compared to what Canva had versus our interface. And again, all of this, you can drag and drop these fields because we took that PDF and the AI was able to analyze the image and tell us that each of these should be different modifiable sections. And the AI actually was able to connect data points to it. So we picked up that that was an agent photo. And so the system automatically mapped the agent photo to that section. We were able to pick up that that is a company logo. So the company logo field is automatically mapped. So gives you a pretty good idea of the import tool, and the AI creation works the exact same way. It takes that prompt that we entered earlier, and I'll back out and go to one of those designs. So you'll actually be able to see as I pop over into my designs, we had generated a variety of different emails and flyer designs using the AI tool. So I can see here we've got some different designs that are available. If I switch over as an upgrade user, I'll see the designs that are specific to me. So here you can see these are all titled DeltaNET AI designs. So these are actually flyers that were generated based off of those prompts that we gave to the AI tool. So here's an example of an AI generated flyer. So I've got all my different elements. Again, we've got the data connected, the listing address. We're pulling through the listing photo. If I swap to any one of these different listings that's in the system, you're going to see the pictures are updating, the address is updating. We'll zoom out a little bit so you can see more of the design. And so you're going to be able to see all those different elements update real time based off of me clicking the different listings. If I wanted to swap my logo out, I tap on that logo field and I can grab one of my black and white logos. So that looks good here. And if I wanted to change any of the color elements, I can do so as well. So I can see what are my company approved colors, and I can adjust those elements of the different sections of the design. And again, if I'm happy with how this looks, I can download it. I can also share this. And so if I am a company admin, I can share it as an email template. If I'm an upgraded agent, I won't have that share option and I can just use it as a social media design. I could send it as an email blast, or I could even use it as an ad wizard ad. So you're going to see a variety of different AI generated templates that are in here. All of these are running are AI generated templates using those preset prompts. You're seeing a lot of blue here because the Delta Media Group colors in this account are the dark blue and the light blue, but it will factor in your company colors. It'll look at your company logo. It's going to factor in your unique voice when it does generate any of these AI created prompted designs. So you guys, again, will have access, anybody that has the AI beta turned on, to play around with the AI design feature. If you're a company admin, you can import designs and the AI will clean up the document and break apart those elements to make it easy for you. And the last piece of what's new within the Create Studio that we really wanted to make sure was highlighted is we also have the ability for you as a company admin to establish your print providers. So what this is going to do is it gives me the ability to add a new provider, and you're going to set that provider's name and you're going to basically put in an email address, because what we're doing with this print provider is we're essentially compiling an email that's going to run to a specific person, and it's going to attach a CSV file of all the order details that are running to that printer. So you're going to be able to upload the design element itself, as well as where how many orders you want print created. You can put a pricing guide in place so the agents know if they're submitting this print order what the price is going to be. And we've got companies that are doing their own in-house printing that use this, where it'll just send an order to an in-house printer, or you can establish any other print provider, and you can have more than one that are established here to make it easier for your agents to actually order print using these marketing assets. Of course, you can favorite your designs. So if I click on the favorite icon, that's going to add it to my favorites. So I can see here, there's a handful of designs that this agent already has set up as their favorites. There is categorization to these designs, and they are all sortable based off of keywords. So as you're building designs, you're going to want to make sure you attach keywords to them because it's going to make it easier for the agents to find whatever designs they're looking for. And then the last thing that I want to mention is there are a handful of settings that are available in here for company administrators, that will allow you to modify if agents are able to do things like modify logos, if there's restricted lockdown fields. We do have a history that's going to show you all the emails that have been sent from the system. So if you are using the Delta Create Studio as the email send, you're going to have tracking in place for all of those to see how many e-cards were sent, how many people opened it, how many people clicked through it. So we do have tracking in place for all of those assets. So to recap the Create Studio in a nutshell, Delta Create is for non-tech savvy agents. Every design that you make in Create Studio will also be visible within Delta Create. This is basically the pared down easy mode version of Create Studio. Create Studio is for company admins to build and upload your own designs, and if you so choose, to give certain agents access into advanced editors where they can do more with the design than you could in our stripped down create interface. And again, how Canva plays into this is if you're a company admin, you build your design in Canva, you're going to save that template as a PDF or an image, and then you're going to upload it using our import design tool to get that flyer inside of Create Studio. If you are an upgraded agent and you want to use Canva, you're not going to use it in the Create Studio. Canva is going to be found inside of the email blast tool, and you're going to insert an image from the email blast tool, and your Canva template is going to be under agent files, where you can then insert it as an email. So there are two different steps that I want to be clear about as it relates to the agents. As I mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, you're going to want to make sure if you're enrolling in the AI beta that when your agents now have access to our AI tools, they go to their profile and they find the DeltaNET AI option, and they go through the profile wizard steps to create their own unique AI voice, because that's going to get factored in with all of the design prompts that they can use within the Create Studio. All right. And that's going to bring me back into the keynote. So, what else are we working on here at Delta? So, we have spent the last 18 months doing massive overhauls to our system architecture. So, you may have noticed a little bit of a lull in new feature development over the last year, but that's because we were really focused on doing some code modernizations and really under the hood work at the company. So, we've got updated hardware, updated server stacks. We've done a complete rewrite of our code base, doing immense amounts of code modernization to make us more agile and enhancing our APIs to better connect with AI models so that we're doing things like focusing not just on SEO, but GEO with our websites, being able to give access to more elements of our database tables for things like AI-driven flyer creation and AI content creation. With the system architecture overhauls concluding, we have now pivoted in 2026 to a 100% product and feature focused 2026. And we've got active work underway on dozens of major projects, which are going to be launching later this year. The Create Studio is just one element, and the Canva integration is just one element of the stuff that we've been working on here at Delta. And our goal is that we're going to be doing multiple webinars every month, unveiling new features and functionality that may be something brand new, or it could be a complete rework to existing tools, as the Create Studio widget is today. On April 30th, at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing a webinar on AdWizard 2.0. So we've made massive improvements to our AdWizard automated advertising program, and we're excited to share with you all the new ways that we can leverage AI with ad creation and what we're seeing from a results perspective for the brokerages that have been opted in to our beta tests of AdWizard 2.0. So we're going to have a dedicated webinar on that on April 30th. In May, we'll be hosting a webinar that goes over the completed DeltaNET 7 admin interface. So all of the code, more than 100 different widgets that were elements of the DeltaNET 6 admin tools have been recreated inside of DeltaNET 7. As of today, there are just 7 widgets for us left to modernize, and we'll be 100% feature complete with all of the admin side of the DeltaNet being ready to be used within DeltaNet 7 so we can finally start deprecating the old DeltaNet 6 interface. So in May, be on the lookout for a webinar walking through all of the updated features and functionality that have come to all of our admin widgets as we've moved them over into DeltaNet 7. And I also want to make sure it's noted that there are more updates coming with Delta Create Studio. What I've shown today is just the beginning of what some of the most exciting things that we're working on and how we're going to be able to fully leverage the rollout of the DeltaNET AI Assistant as we are planning on doing more webinars over the course of the coming summer on our AI tools, on our Lead Engine 2.0, and a variety of other great features that we've been working on here at Delta. If you are not a customer who joined us on this call, we have options for you. We have options for single agents all the way up to large enterprise brokerages that we work with. If you're interested in signing up and learning more about our websites, our advertising programs, our CRM tools, please reach out to me at sales@deltagroup.com, or my email is on the slide here if you want to contact me directly. We do have intro promotional rates. We've got really quick turnaround times for brokerages looking to leverage our new 2026 catalog of website themes. And if you're a current customer, I'd encourage you to reach out to me as well. If you guys haven't been keeping up on our socials, we've been advertising new designs every week that we've been launching. We have a catalog of brand new 2026 designs that are really great looking, high functional sites that are easy for us to turn out in a very small amount of time. So existing customers, we've got a website redesign promotion. For as little as $250, you can get access to one of our new website themes. So if you're interested in checking those out, you can go to deltagroup.com/themes.html. You can email me and I'll get you a list of all those themes if you want to review them. We can get you up and running with a brand new cutting edge design in less than a week if you're interested in using any of our themes. And finally, that's going to bring me to the last 10 minutes of today. We've got 10 minutes for Q&A. If you guys would like to leverage that chat feature and plug any of your questions into the chat box, I'm happy to answer them. This was recorded. We'll share a copy of this recording out with you so that you'll have this to use as a reference or to share with your agents if you'd like. So just be on the lookout. You'll get an email later today or tomorrow with a copy of the recording. If there are any questions, I'll leave the Zoom open for a couple of minutes to keep an eye on the chat box. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me and taking the time out of your schedules to meet with me today.